Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. I certainly am, drinking my vitamin C. Okay, we got a few people. Hey, Len and Judy from Edmonton, Alberta. Good morning. How are you? Good to have you on this morning. Donna, good morning. And Rosa. And Brahim from Portland, Oregon. Good morning to you. Adeline, LaSalle, near Windsor. Edith, good morning to you. Nice to have you guys on. Appreciate your faithfulness to the program. Madeleine, how are you? Long time no talk. And Nativity, good morning. Mary, how are you? Marlene, good morning. And Wendy from Markham, good morning. Kevin, Oshawa. Rainy Oshawa. Okay. Fran, Orangeville. Okay, she's saying we need the rain. Elsie. And Zian, bonjour. Jean, Zian, dear friends. How are you guys? Pierre. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. My buddy, Dr. Troy Bennett from Newfoundland. Good morning, Troy. David. And Anne. AJ. Ruth. Ruthven. Is that how you say it? Sandy. Yolande. Bonjour. David. Muskoka. Beautiful. Marcin. Good morning. Sherry. Oh, I want to sing, Sherry. Debbie. Sturgeon Falls. Moral, Ottawa, Lisa, Deb, Detroit, Michigan. Wanda from Virginia, good morning. Francis Marie, Nellie, and Sandy, Washington State. Beautiful. Claire, Corrine, and Maria. Couple more. Rita, good morning. Lisa Marie, or Lisa M. And I missed one there. Donna, another Donna. Rita, good morning. Nice to have you guys on. Robin and Connie, good morning. Anna, right here in Sudbury. Well, I'm not in Sudbury. I'm traveling. Carol, Cindy, good morning. Dorothy. And Dell. Now you might hear a little bit of noise, guys, in the background. I'm out in a gazebo here and doing the program. Dave, Mary Jane, and Irene. Oh, I'd sing again, Irene. Diane, Thunder Bay. We appreciate you guys. Sue, Manitoulin Island, God's Country. Barbara, Deborah, and Debbie Timmons. Good morning. Anna, Tecumseh, Jennifer, Amelia, Shediac, Nouveau Brunswick, good morning. Okay, Vera, good morning to you. Nice to have you on. And guys, I know I missed so many. And Faye, good morning to you. We appreciate you. We appreciate 2 Fays in a row. Mary Jane from Connecticut. Okay, guys, what I want to talk about today is what is destroying our guts. What is destroying our guts? It seems day after day I'm reading studies on colorectal cancer. The amount of cancers in the amount of colorectal cancer and colon cancer is unbelievable today. It is one of the fastest growing cancers. I don't mean in the stage of actually growing, but in terms of numbers. It is playing havoc in our society today. And I want to talk in general principles. What is destroying our guts today? Now, you guys know these things. You really do, but it's good to reinforce what destroys our gut. And you could say, what makes your gut susceptible to cancer? What destroys your microbiome? Remember, you and I are made of bacteria. There's trillions, not millions, not billions, trillions of bacteria. You have more bacteria in your body than you have cells in your body. The state, okay, the state of your bacteria is going to determine, by and large, your health, especially though in your gut. When you step on the scale, and I mean this, I used to tell my patients this, when you step on the scale, take 3 pounds off. Tony Jr. says 5 pounds. Him and I argue, so let's say 4 pounds. We'll give. He gives a little, I give a little, 5. For him, 3 for me, let's say 4 pounds. When you get on the scale then, take 4 pounds off. There's 4 pounds of bacteria. Whether you're skinny or whether you're bigger, it don't matter. You got 4 pounds of bacteria. Now, the problem is, what kind of state is that bacteria in? So let's go over just generally what destroys your gut. What destroys your gut bacteria? Now you guys are thinking along with me. You've got some of these down pat. But I wrote 8 things here. I wrote 8 things. Okay? So, again, what destroys our gut? What makes us so susceptible to colorectal cancer, colon cancer, and you know what, for a lot of other cancers too, like pancreatic and whatever. But let's stick to the gut. Let's stick to the microbiome. Let's stick to these things this morning. And we've got lots to talk about. Okay, let's get going. Number 1 on the hit parade. What will destroy your gut? Nothing will destroy your gut more than, I'm going to name a close second in a minute. It's close. What destroys your gut? What sets you up for an imbalance in your gut of bacteria? 1, crappy food, sugar, and crappy carbs. We are carboholics. We're sugarholics. We don't realize it. 200 pounds of sugar a year, the average North American consumes. They don't even know because they never keep track, and people generally don't read labels, because if they did, the vast majority of people would realize they are setting themselves up for colon cancer and setting themselves up for a disruption of their microbiome. Why? Because they insist on eating sugar, and especially high fructose corn syrup and crappy carbs with those crappy oils. So when you go in the middle aisles of the grocery store, and from cookies to salad dressings to whatever else is in there, okay, from your breads to whatever, unbelievable, crackers, you name it, crappy oils and sugar is a disaster for your gut. It's a disaster for your microbiome. And the reason, one of the reasons is, and you know I mention this all the time, when I say don't feed the bears, I mean it. Because in your gut, guys, in your gut, you got bacteria there. Okay? You have some yeast there. It's normal. You're going to have, you don't want to completely eradicate yeast, but you want to keep it at bay, and it's kept at bay when you don't feed yeast and you don't feed bad bacteria. See, bad bacteria thrive on crappy oils and crappy sugar. They thrive. So what's the number one reason that we see so much colorectal cancer? What's the number one reason? It's food, and bad food. Bad food. So remember that. A junk diet is going to destroy your gut. It's amazing how many people, literally thousands of people over the years, in my days of practice, when I changed their diet, when I got them off the crappy carbs and no more sugar, it was amazing how much better their gut got. It was amazing. They couldn't get over it. Doc, I've had gut issues for 20 years, 25 years. It's so much better. Yep, so much better. Now, number one, it's food. And when someone, some doctor, some guru, some friend, someone over the internet, Google, tells you to avoid red meat for your gut, run, because it's not true. There's no truth to it. Red meat doesn't affect your gut the wrong way. It affects it the right way because it's so much nutritional value. Your gut loves that. I read yesterday that someone online said, I don't do well with red meat. Well, that's you. You got to fix your gut first then. Right? Fix your gut first. And you'll be able to go back almost invariably to eating red meat. Okay, so number one on the hit parade is what? Food. Always look at food. Food is medicine. Food is medicine. It's either bad medicine or good medicine, but it's medicine. And it's amazing to me that in medical schools, even today, here we are in 2022, medical school are teaching about an hour of nutrition in their several years of study. It's amazing to me. And that's why I've always said you might as well go to your plumber to get nutritional advice. Okay. Number two, what destroys your gut? Medication. Medication. Nothing will destroy your gut more than bad food and medication, especially antibiotics. Now, again, you guys know that. I have to throw it out there because it's really important. When you take an antibiotic, and who the heck in the world hasn't taken an antibiotic, right? Come on. I can't think I've ever met someone, I mean, that isn't a year old. I don't think I've ever met an adult, ever, that hasn't taken antibiotics in their lifetime. But I'm going to tell you something. This is destructive to your gut. Antibiotics, the problem is, they wipe out your microbiome. And it doesn't take them long to do it either. 5 days. 5 days. And I'll tell you, it doesn't always happen overnight where you get digestive. You take like some people do. You take an antibiotic and they get gut pain just from the antibiotic. But a lot of times it's delayed. You don't realize what's happened. You don't see it. I've written so many books and over the years, when I've talked about the importance of the microbiome, the friendly bacteria, the war that goes on inside your gut. There's a war going on there. You don't see it. It's invisible to the naked eye. You can't, but they pick it up microscopically, but you don't see it. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. So when you have bad food, when the foods that we're consuming, especially drinks, full of sugar, my word. And then you get antibiotics, like kids that take antibiotics for ear infections, throat infections, and whatever when they're little wee children. You know what? That comes back to bite them later on in their lives with digestive issues. They formed a leaky gut and they don't know it. It's not like there's a little red light going off on the top of your head telling you, hey, you got leaky gut. You just have to assume. You have to assume. When you're on antibiotics of any kind, if your children are on antibiotics, I promise you, they got leaky gut. Promise you. Unless they're taking probiotics. Meds, antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, many of them even over the counter, like Advil and Motrin. And, you know, take them for a headache or whatever. You're not thinking about your gut. You're thinking about your headache. And you take an Aleve or whatever. Those are called non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. They destroy not as much as antibiotics do, but just about. Do you know how many people live on over-the-counter medication daily for headaches or cramps or whatever they're getting? Backaches, joint pain. They live on anti-inflammatories. And because they're over the counter, you can get them without a prescription. A lot of people think, well, I mean, there can't be that many side effects. Otherwise, the government would have taken them off the market. Don't wait for the government. And listen, I understand why people take those things. I understand that. I'm very sympathetic, guys. All I'm telling you is short-term gain, long-term pain, because it creates leaky gut. It creates a bad colon. Okay? So the real culprits are antibiotics, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, PPIs. You know what PPIs are? Proton pump inhibitors. What's that mean? Well, I got acid, doc. Okay? I got acid reflux. And if I don't take a medication, oh, the acid. Okay? And all I'm saying is, yeah, but it's a double-edged sword. You feel better. You don't get the acid running up your esophagus, but you're creating other issues. I mean, I could spend a whole program on PPIs and what they do to your bones and what they do to your brain and what they do to your mineral absorption and your trace minerals and even your protein breakdown and these kind of things. I could go into that, but what I'm talking about this morning is your gut. Is your gut. It suppresses the acidity in your stomach. You're asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble in the colon. In the colon, okay? PPIs and then steroids, like prednisone, cortisone. People take that for autoimmune or, you know, like rheumatoid arthritis or whatever. They're on prednisone. How many people are on steroids to keep their inflammation down? They're miraculous as far as lowering inflammation. They really are. But oh, the side effects. They destroy your microbiome. They are making you, yeah, you know, I understand it. But this is why so many people are getting colon cancer today. Why is it gone up 300%? Food, medication. That's number 2 category, okay? And antibiotics, I've always said it. You heard it here. The greatest discovery of the 20th century become the curse of the 21st. Antibiotics have become the curse of the 21st. It is one of the biggest reasons that we see autistic children today gone up in the percentile. You destroy the microbiome. And anyway, infections and gut imbalances. A lot of people don't realize Okay? They don't realize it. You love your pets? I know you do. And that's all right. That's all right. I want you to love your pet. Okay? But a lot of times your pet has parasites and they lick you. That's how they kiss. They lick you, right? Look, we live with infections. We live with parasites. And the problem is, if you get an overgrowth of parasites, if you get an overgrowth, a bacterial overgrowth, one of the reasons, because the world today has low acidity in their stomach because of our bad diets. When we eat sugar, and we eat too many, you see, the reason your stomach, can I just sort of get off on a little rabbit trail just for a second so that you follow me here? Okay? Why do you want high acidity in your stomach? Why do you want that? It's a furnace. Why is that? Why do cows not have the same acidity in their stomachs? They got 4 stomachs, by the way. Okay? But they don't need the acid that we need. Okay? And contain, right? You want acid in your stomach. You know, you ought to be able to melt a penny if you swallow it. That's how much acidity ought to be in your stomach. But we have a society today where people don't have much acidity left in their stomach. You know why? Because we're consuming, yes, too much sugar. Too many, I hate to say this, vegetables and fruit. You don't need high acidity to break down vegetables and acid. Okay? And because we don't eat enough animal protein, listen to what I'm saying. Because we don't eat enough animal protein, one of the reasons that you need high acidity is to break down steak. Okay, chicken too. Not as much for chicken. You are meant to eat meat. You're meant to eat it. And when you don't eat it, your acidity in your stomach is not near as acidic. Okay? You need acidity. And when you don't eat enough red meat, I always say red meat, because I'm a big fan of red meat. I go against the grain. That's what's good for your stomach. It helps you to produce more acidity in your stomach is when you eat steak. And a lot of people say, oh, Doc, steak bothers me. It's because you don't have enough acidity in your stomach. And you didn't use your gallbladder over the years. Why do you think God gave you a gallbladder? Cows don't have gallbladders. Rabbits don't have gallbladders. Why do you need a gallbladder? Because you're meant to eat steak. You need a gallbladder. And use it or lose it. And women lose their gallbladder. Oh. Okay, I got off on a tangent. I'm coming back. Okay? So, infections. Either parasitical, fungal. You know what we did at the Martin Clinic when we changed the name of SIBO, which is very, 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 by the way, underdiagnosed today. It's misdiagnosed. Oh, you got IBS. You got IBS. Okay. Irritable bowel. Doc, I didn't need to come to a doctor for you to tell me that I got an irritated gut. I know I have an irritated gut. Why do I have an irritated gut, Doc? You got IBS. I know, but what is that? Well, most of the time it's misdiagnosed SIBO, but really it's SIFO, small intestine bacterial. Change it. The Martin Clinic, we changed it. Small intestine fungal yeast infection, overgrowth. That's why we see so much digestive issues and colon cancer. What happens in the small intestine? You get an overgrowth of yeast. You're in deep doo-doo. It will take over your body. Parasites. Okay? Junk food, medications, infections. Here's another one. I shouldn't go there. I'll never finish. C. difficile. It's so big today. Why? Because we can't fight it like we used to. The overuse of antibiotic, yes, number one. But when you don't have enough good acidity in your stomach, you see, your stomach is a barrier. It's a protector. Any bacteria that gets in there, when you can melt a penny, it'll kill that bacteria. It won't get to your gut. Parasites won't get to your gut. If you got good acidity in your stomach. But what if your acidity is not? Well, those bugs live. They live. And they thrive. They thrive in moisture, even mold. You get toxins. That's the fourth one. Toxins. The average person, listen to this. The average person, when they do a blood test, the average person has over 200 chemicals in their bloodstream on the best of days. Over 200. 200 chemicals in their bloodstream on an average person. From, you name it, those toxins. BPAs, plastic, phthalates, I don't know how to pronounce it. Xenoestrogens. Anything that you can't pronounce, anything that you have trouble spelling. Read your label. From your shampoos to whatever. You want to put something in your body, put it on your skin. Ooh. Your cleaning products, these antibacterial sprays. Oh, and I've said this to you. I'm not a prophet nor the son of one, but let me tell you something. Cancer is coming to a theater near you. I'm not kidding you. When I see people spray, bugs. We got to get rid of the bacteria. We got to get rid of that virus. We got to get rid of that virus. We got to get rid of that virus. That's all they think about 24 hours a day. And they're spraying all those chemicals. And they're using hand sanitizers. I get a triple migraine when I watch people. I said, you know how much chemicals you're putting right into your body? Not only that, but you're destroying your microbiome. Those chemicals destroy your good bacteria. It creates an imbalance. Ooh. Number 4, toxins. Number 5, the lack of digestive enzymes. Amylase, protease, lipase, pancreatic enzymes. Your pancreas, you know what it does. It releases insulin. Wow, we need that. We don't need a lot of it, but we need it. But your pancreas does other things too, and one of them is it releases pancreatic enzymes to break your food down. This is one of the biggest problems in the gut. People don't break their food down. Low acidity and not enough digestive enzymes. So that food comes into your gut. Partially digested. Your body says, what the heck is in there? And it creates inflammation because what it does, it sees it as a foreign invader. It's only food. But because it's not micro-sized, it's partially undigested, it partially digested, what do you get? You get not only autoimmune, but you are disrupting your gut. You're disrupting it. You're creating an inflammatory response within the gut with a lack of digestive enzymes. We don't eat enough enzymes. Food with real food. Okay, here's another one. You guys know this. Stress. What does stress do? Did I just scare you? What does stress do? Over a period of time, it disrupts. It disrupts. First of all, it diverts blood supply. Think about it. Your blood goes from your gut, because you're not thinking of digestion when you're stressed. Your body isn't thinking, it's thinking fight or flight. So what does it do? It sends blood away from the gut into the muscles so that you can run or fight. And you think, well, yeah, your body's made for that. Yes, if someone's scaring you, no problem. It only lasts a few seconds or whatever. You're not. But what if stress continues? We live in a stress ball society today. I tell you, this happened about 15 years ago in my practice. Because you know what I used to measure? Cortisol. The stress hormone. I used to measure cortisol. And I'm not kidding you, my practice in the last 15 years, not that I didn't know what cortisol, you know why I used to measure cortisol? It all started in my days studying chronic fatigue. Now remember, my thesis for my PhD was on chronic fatigue syndrome. Nutrition, obviously, nutritional, chronic fatigue syndrome. I published that thesis, published as my first book, Chronic Fatigue Syndrome, The Modern Woman's Curse. And in it, I talked about the adrenal gland. Nobody was talking about that. I talked about cortisol and what cortisol does. Folks, this is in the late 1980s. And stress, what it does. And people, anxiety, I mean, people knew what anxiety was, but it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't a big thing. It wasn't part of medicine's, I mean, unless you were a psychiatrist, medicine never even thought about cortisol. I mean, even today, you can't get them to think about adrenal glands, those little wee glands on top, adrenal, on top of your kidney. You can't get them to think about it. Well, you don't have Addison's. You don't have Cushing's. I'm not, why do I have to test cortisol for? Ooh. That gives me a splitting headache again. But guys, all I'm saying is, when you are stressed, when your cortisol, the drip, 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 drip of cortisol, that's what I call it, the drip, drip. Think of a tap, and it's, it's got a drip. Well, that adds up, right? Put a plug in your sink and let drip, and then you find out at the end of the day, boy, that was a lot of water that dripped there, right? Well, a dripping tap of drip, drip, drip of cortisol, it is so disruptive to your gut. It affects the microbiome big time. It affects the lining of your gut and leaky gut. It's one of the big factors, okay? One of the big factors. It alters the nervous system. And one of the other ways too, I just want to say that it affects the 10th cranial nerve. You know what the 10th cranial nerve is? Have you ever had butterflies? Yeah, I've had butterflies. Well, what happened when you got butterflies? I got, my stomach was queasy. Well, how did that happen? Well, you were nervous about something, and your brain talked to your stomach. Your brain talked to your stomach. I was nervous about a test, or I'm waiting to hear about my medical test coming back, and my stomach is bothering me. Why is that? Well, your brain talks to your stomach through what? The parasympathetic cranial nerve, the 10th cranial nerve. It's called the vagus, not Las Vegas, the vagus nerve. And what happens in Vegas don't stay in Vegas. What happens in the brain don't stay in the brain. It goes down to your gut. You know what butterflies are. You can see it right there. How cortisol, number one, it disrupts the blood flow. 2, it communicates between the brain and the gut. It disrupts the gut. You've heard of that. You know what that is. Okay. Okay, 2 more. I think 2 more. Yep, 2 more. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Now, don't get upset with me. They overuse of fiber. Fiber. Brought to you by Kellogg cereal. The cereal company started the fiber thing. Oh, you can't live without fiber. It's gonna, rah, 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 rah. I heard that for 50 years. And I've been screaming against it. You ever, when I studied anatomy, okay? When I studied anatomy, not just muscles and all this and that. You study anatomy, you study gut. You know what human beings have? We don't have 4 stomachs. We have a gallbladder. We don't have, we think our intestines are really large, but they're not that large. Comparatively. Because we're not vegetarians. We're not vegans. We're not meant to live on that. I'm not saying you can't, okay, please don't come after me and say Dr. Martin doesn't like vegetables or fruit. I'm not telling you that. I'm just saying that when you live on that stuff, because Doc, I need my fiber. Why do you think we see so much diverticulosis today? Why? I ask the question why all the time. Why are we, if diverticulosis is like an epidemic, okay, little pouches in the bowel, why is that, Doc? It's not because we're eating red meat. We're eating less red meat than ever. Did you know that? Yeah, it's down about 30%, the poor farmers. We're eating more vegetables. We're eating more nuts. You're not a chipmunk. You're eating more seeds. People live on that stuff. That's not good for your gut. Yeah, but Doc, I need my fiber. Nah, it's overrated. It's overrated. Okay? Why do you got to go to the bathroom 10 times a day? Why do you think that's... Are you going to win a prize? I know I go against the grain, guys, but I can't help myself. I study anatomy. And comparative. Anyway. Okay, and the last one. Let me finish with this. Okay? Let me finish with this. What'll disrupt your gut? A lack of H2O. The best fiber is not fiber. The best thing for your gut to wash away the crud, to go in your toilet. The crud that goes in your toilet is water, not fiber. Water. H2O. water. Wash it down. Wash it. Wash away the debris. Drink enough water. It's so amazing what that does for your gut health. Your microbiome, you know what they love? Water. Yeah, everything needs water. You need sunshine and water to live. And so does your bacteria, your good guys. They want sunshine. I can tell you how. And water. And good food. That's why they like steak. Okay, guys. Okay. I got excited. I didn't mean to. Yes, I did. Okay. Okay, guys, we got a great week coming up. Okay? Lots of fun. Okay. You got the memo this morning? Good. Are you part of the Martin Clinic Facebook group? Are your friends? They're not? Well, bring them on. You can bring a horse to water. You can't necessarily make them drink it, but you can try. You can add salt. Get them listening to the podcast, the Doctors In podcast. Let me convince them. If you have trouble convincing, let me do it. Lead them to the water. Okay, guys, we love you dearly. We'll talk to you soon.